Warning, the following communications are not authorized. Please disable your signals and report to your local re-education center immediately. Failure to comply will
Wow, my brain's hurting now from after that.
All right.
Whoa. How are you, young man?
Story. All right. Man, I'm all right. A little stressed out. But
That's it? Just stress?
yeah, man. Well, they're making it tough. I was trying to get back to DC. They don't want that to happen as far as the Airbnb is concerned. I'm nervous that the flight itself might be canceled. I mean, it's just gotten so far. It's gone so far. I'm just learning now that the guy Topher, who I met at Walkaway. Hold on, how's my?
You're fine.
All right.
My lips look really red. That's for sure. I'm not wearing lipstick, you guys. I promised.
This guy
Yet
that I met at Walkaway has been censored. I mean, we're talking about a rapper, like a conservative Christian rapper. You know him, Topher. Censored off these platforms. I mean, we're talking about conservative Christian rap music.
can't have that. Illegal.
Can't have that. So yeah, man, it's stressful. I'm trying to keep a positive outlook, but it looks like I mean, obviously you guys have your own problems now with the papers and stuff. So I guess that makes me feel a little bit better. I could still go into the grocery store right down the street from my house without a mask, and I do not take that for granted, I should say. So I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, people at my office today were talking about how, just randomly mentioning how South Dakota, they want to move to South Dakota. It's pretty funny.
Come on over.
So as of, I think it's midnight tonight, or I don't know when, some point tonight or tomorrow, the province of Ontario in Canada has entered a new lockdown because it's been working so well so far, where it is officially at the police's discretion to determine whether or not you're allowed to be outside. So you're supposed to be allowed to go to work, exercise, or to go get groceries. I'm sure there's a couple more. Don't quote me on that, but you do. Confirmed, as far as I know, you have to, if you're on your way to work, you have to provide your papers. A bit.
But okay, so that's if you're going to work. But what if you're? I mean, can't you just say you're going to go work out? I mean, how does this end? And how are the cops there? I mean,
Well, it's stupid, obviously, but under this emergency act, the cops are allowed to ask you for your ID, so they're basically allowed to card you, and I believe you have to give your name and your address so that they can confirm. What are you doing here? Why are you so far away? It's always Alex Jones stopping you on the side of the road. What are you doing here, Patriot? Why are you here? Are you within your radius? Infowarstore.com. So I guess they're allowed to determine whether, it says they're literally allowed. It's at the officer's discretion to determine whether or not you should be outside instead of curfew. Now, in the province of Quebec, which is French land, we're losing all my hand movements on this screen. Talking like an Italian guy. In Quebec, they have a literal curfew. Now, ours is supposed to be just a mandated stay-at-home order. We don't have an official curfew. In Quebec, you can't even be out on the streets unless you're walking your dog or going to work or something. But here, it's up to the police if you can go out. So you're supposed to be allowed to get groceries. You're supposed to be allowed to go to work. You're supposed to be allowed to exercise. How they determine somebody's doing something like exercise, and media, of course, as well, because we're a privileged class. A privileged class. So I don't want to give away anything, but what if everybody just decided to pull out their phone and say that they were, journalists? I mean, how are you going to prove it? I mean, I have a press pass.
you are one of the privileged elites.
I mean, we don't have real press passes in Canada. Like, they're not issued, and by real, I mean, they're not issued by the government. In a lot of states, they're issued by police departments and stuff like that. but we just have like press galleries, which is a group of journalists getting together, which is what we did. We decided to create our own because the mainstream media wanted to kick us out. So we created our own and forced them to recognize us because it'd be illegal for them not to. So I have a press pass that says I'm part of the Independent Press Gallery. But what's to stop somebody else from just making a press pass? They don't have like lawyers like my company has or registered galleries like we have. But who is to determine who's a legitimate journalist or not? What if you're an Instagram person or a YouTuber with 100,000 subscribers? Are you not like a media? Are you not a media personality? Can you not record? Apparently, it's the police who are supposed to be able to determine this.
Yeah, it makes no sense, right? I mean, I obviously there's loopholes around it. There's ways to get around it. I'm just genuinely curious. I'm not super familiar with the Canadian police, so I don't know.
You should be.
There's sheriff's departments out in California and a couple places that have gone against some of the weirdo lockdowns that were happening in counties out in California. So do you see some police being that way? I mean, are they patriots? Now, obviously, we're now hearing stories too, speaking of police and sheriffs, that certain police officers from certain cities and certain states were at the Capitol. And of course, now they're no longer police. They are domestic. I don't even know what we're allowed to say, but this is just getting really insane. It's getting so extreme. And again, I will say the fact that I don't yet have to produce papers like you do does make me feel a little bit better. But we're on the way there, right? I mean, hopefully South Dakota. I mean, Kristi Noem seems like a nice, strong woman. I think everybody loves Ron DeSantis, and I think
do they?
Well, not everybody. Sane, rational folks like Ron DeSantis, but I think Governor Noem has done a great job. Of course, the left will smear her. Who was it? George Stephanopoulos, who I really do despise. The man seems to fly under the radar, because Don Lemon is such an idiot, and Fredo, they're such elitist pricks. Like Anderson Cooper just the other day, his little spiel about Olive Garden. But George Stephanopoulos, 6 weeks or so, maybe a couple months ago, was grilling Kristi Noem about cases are rising in your state. And this was literally like a day or two after the entire left-wing mob of people all across the country were literally out sharing champagne. But he didn't want to talk to those governors or those mayors. So it's absolutely insane. And I don't know how we crawl out of this. I really don't. I wish I had a little bit. Well, you see what we tried to do. What those other crazy people tried to do. I was not involved at all. But you see, when you push people, I mean, think about this, right? For the longest time, this is what I sort of compare it to, is just like you're poking somebody, like you're an annoying little kid poking a big, strong football player, like maybe in high school, and you just poke him and you poke him and you poke him and you poke him and you poke him until finally he smacks you across the face. And then, of course, you cry that he's a big, you know what I mean? That's what it's like. You've been gaslighting the entire American population, lying to us, stealing, cheating, all sorts of fraud, all sorts of things, even worse than fraud. Shout out to Hunter Biden's laptop. This goes on for years. And finally, people are like, enough. And now you see how they paint those people who have just been fed up with it.
Well, yeah. A couple of things I want to get to. By the way, anyone watching, feel free to ask us some questions if you want to get some answers here. Savannah Hernandez, who I recently interviewed, she's had her Instagram privileges taken away from her as part of our new COVID social media overlords, and talking about the election on YouTube, disputing it. Now that's going to need a warning, so I'm going to have to come up with a second warning for us, one that combines both, maybe back to back, who knows. So
it's for your safety.
It is. It truly is. It's so that it's like a PG-13 rating on the front. So I guess she's had her live capabilities stripped from her, and she's already been taken off of Twitter. So she's one of the people that they're really like Like she had like 100 something thousand followers on Twitter, I think, and now she's got 25,000 on Instagram. You have to believe that at some point, like all of her fans probably followed her, and like they're clearly like I'm gonna go ahead and assume that she's being shadow banned. It's no
Yeah.
question about that. So when you see people, I know it doesn't translate between platforms all the time, but when there's no other place to go, I'm waiting for Parler to come back. The feeling that Parler gives you, especially a guy like me who's been so terribly blacklisted by YouTube, the feeling that Parler gives you of freedom. Now they might be lying about their numbers, but I got to 1.5 thousand followers on Parler without doing anything. I mean, I was just reposting the links from Rebel News that I'm in and some other stuff, and it really goes to show like when it's more fair, it's so much better.
Yeah.
And we were talking. I was talking. I was in a meeting with somebody from Rumble, and my question to them was, "Are you using any ranking algorithms for news or whatever?" And they say that it's a straight feed essentially.
Like remember the early days of Instagram when it was all chronological? Do you remember? Like, I mean, we're talking like 2013 or something like that. It's crazy. And I did. So obviously now they're coming for Telegram as well, because I saw Savannah post that she was going to be sharing stuff on Telegram. I am on there. Shout out, go follow me, same handle. I'm still like trying to figure out really how it works. But they're just going to come for everything. It's absolute insanity. I just have posted I've been on Parler. I set up a Parler at the kind of like at the beginning of the virus.
Yeah, me too.
Hadn't used it. I just posted my first parlay or whatever.
It's too much Frenchness going on here.
Yeah, I posted my first one, and then it was the next day it was gone. So yeah,
yeah.
Of Kanye West, smiling ear to ear with his MAGA hat on. I was like, this is me posting my first parlay or whatever. Like, and then it was gone. It was either the next day or I forget exactly when it went down, but it was only shortly after my first one that it was all gone.
That reminds me, my Spotify has a picture of Trump and Kanye hugging. I go by Andre on there as a binary person, just in case anyone's wondering.
Binary or non-binary?
Non-binary. Is it just a listing now? It's going to be binary instead of male or female. Yeah, so I'm trying to post on those more often. I've been on Minds. I'm actually a founder of Minds, you guys. I paid into the founding program of Minds, so I'm verified as a founder on Minds. And yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Minds used to be so much better, and then I just immediately start shit talking them. Minds used to be so much better in the beginning. They would give you credits for posting, voting, interacting, commenting, and having people comment on your stuff. And you would take those credits and you could use that to boost your posts. So in the beginning, just by interacting and being on the platform, which of course you want to show advertisers how long people stay on there, I could then turn around and take my post and say, and boost it so that it mandatorily will see 20,000 people will see it, for example. And then they eventually change that, and you can either buy that or they send you like creator gifts where they call it tokens. So I really like that system. I'm wondering why they got rid of it. I mean, you should still be able to pay to boost your content, but I'm not sure why they got rid of that. But I will I will post this on Minds and Gab, even though Gab seems to be up and down with its online availability, because I guess it's getting hit with a lot of traffic. Now, if there's somebody else I wanted to mention that you probably haven't heard of, his name is Chris Sky. I'm going to share the screen with our fancy live stream software here.
I am on Minds too, by the way.
So there we go. We're in the corner. No, let's go with this one so we can kind of see us both. So this guy named Chris Sky here, he has, as you can see, 85,000 followers, just recently verified.
I'm losing you there a little bit.
How about now?
Much better.
Okay, so it seems like every time we put a screen or something, or the screen changes, the audio fucks up. Get on it, Restream. I pay you guys. So Chris Sky here, he's a Canadian guy. He is one of the proponents and featured people in the anti-lockdown movement in Canada. And what ended up happening to him, it happens to him all the time. He's got a legitimate mask exemption, even though they're not allowed to ask you what it is. He proves it. He's got a medical document from a doctor. He got taken off of a flight. I don't remember which airline it was because I would like to throw their name in the dirt here. Hopefully they wouldn't ban me, but who knows? Maybe I should watch out for that. So he got kicked off a flight because they said, oh, you have to wear a mask. And he's like, I have a medical exemption under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, because we don't have a real constitution here. You can't do that. They call the police, our equivalent of the FBI, the RCMP, the Mounties, the guy on horses. They don't always do that. But they kick him off the flight. They arrest him. They try to charge him. That was a couple months ago. Turns out, as of yesterday, I think, they have dropped the charges. The chief called and apologized to him, and they're sending him money that I don't know what he had to pay them for, maybe bail or costs of some kind, but they're dropping the charges. They've apologized, and now they're paying him money. So if you think that when you go into a store and they say no exemptions or we don't have to honor your mask exemption, that by the law is literally the equivalent to somebody saying, hey, I don't believe you need that wheelchair, or I don't believe you need that seeing eye dog.
Yeah. I think, did you post something about this guy? I think his
yeah,
kind of familiar. I think I have seen it, but at least that appears to be some sanity returning to to these insane times, right? I hope that continues. And remember that woman, I think she was like a fitness instructor or something, or some sort of fitness personality, who got kicked off the flight because her 2-year-old.
Yes.
I wonder whatever happened to her.
I don't know, but a lot of gym owners and personal trainers and stuff, it seems to be the high volume of the people who are getting screwed over by all these regulations. Gym owners, tattoo artists, hairstylists, massage therapists, anybody who's really doing one-on-one things for health, mind you, are the ones that seem to be getting the worst of it. So whenever we do a Fight the Fine story on them, which is what we do at rebelnews.com, fightthefines.com, or if you're in Australia, I just talked to our Australian guy, Avi Yemeni, yesterday. Fightthefines.com.au. Whenever we do one for like a gym, I try to follow them because I wish my gym was open. But I did get to work out today after work. We're putting an office gym in. So far we've got like 3 sets of dumbbells, a treadmill, and kettlebells, and I hate kettlebells.
Wow. Remember, I always think of P. Diddy when I hear kettlebells, or he like swung a kettlebell at somebody. See,
Diddy's got a lot of violence in his past. He slapped Drake. That guy Shine got shot. They say that it was Diddy who shot him, but Shine took the fall. Shout out Shine. I don't know if he's dead, but rest in peace if he is.
No, he's not dead. But yeah, so you got to come to South Dakota, because I mean,
I'm not about to leave.
You got to have your special papers, but I mean, you can go to the gym, you can go to the store, all the businesses are open. I think one time since I've been here, there was a guy at Target who didn't even say anything to me. He just offered me a mask. He just gave me a mask, but he was holding it with a paper towel, and I'm just like, okay, dude, like I'm just here to like just point me in the direction of the bed sheets. I'll be really quick. But other than that, it's been the closest thing to normal, obviously since before the virus. And I still, when this all started, I was very still optimistic. I was like, no way people are gonna buy this, and then they just kept stringing them along for I mean, what we'll say it was March, right, give or take, so nearly a year.
Speaking of people offering masks, I don't think this comedian will mind me sharing this video. Dude, it's one of the, I hope it'll work. It's one of the funniest videos. He's given me permission to post it, so I'd imagine that he'll be fine with me. So his name's Ben Bankus. He's a comedian in Toronto, and let's see if we can get this working. Oh, it's so funny. Hold on a second. We got to share the screen again here. It's glitching out. Is that glitching out for you?
Yep, a little bit.
Oh, that's really glitching out. I don't know why. Instagram doesn't like being put on this big of a screen. That sucks. Go to Ben Bankus on Instagram. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it's like.
Let's see if we can full screen it. There we go. Hopefully the sound will work. Tell me if you can hear it. Can you hear that?
Nope.
Fuck. It should have sound. Technical difficulties, people. Oh, that suck. I'll try to download it while we're talking here.
So a couple things though, real briefly. I posted on my story last night. It might still be up. That the timelines with these shutdowns in these chain of events between Governor Newsom and Governor Cuomo is just too close to be any coincidence. I mean, from the original shutdown to the request of hospital ships to the pretending that they're now worried about the economy, to using the baseball stadiums as vaccination sites. How are those things happening in unison, clear across the country, without this being manufactured?
You know, your guess is as good as mine.
I mean, it's so obvious, right? Like you can, and I might do a longer form video about it, but it's absolutely disgusting. And I think I must have been, was I talking to you, or might have been doing a stream with Seth from Venice Beach, or maybe when I went on with Leonardo on Instagram. But I called it. I was actually trying to find the clip so I could repost it, because I called it as soon as Cuomo said this shutdown is not sustainable, basically, and we can't stay closed until the vaccine hits critical mass. We have to reopen now, or we'll have nothing to come back open. We'll have nothing to reopen at that point, which everybody's been saying for the past 8 months. I knew as soon as he said that Governor Newsom was going to fall in line with that, and like clockwork, the next day he did the same thing.
Oh my God, that seems like you were saying earlier that it seems like it had so much to do with Trump now, and there can't be any other doubt. Like this whole thing where you have to hope that people see through it, where it's just like everybody's a terrorist now. Everybody who likes everybody who was there, like it was like 20,000 people. I know some people want to deny that it was Trump supporters, but if you look at the footage, especially the stuff that's slightly offensive has, where it's like 20,000 people there, it's clearly not a good look for the Republican Party, and everybody wants to, and then everybody else wants to pretend it doesn't happen. But the problem here is that the establishment, all of a sudden, they want to pretend like Biden's got everything under control. Now that Biden's here, you guys, he's the best. Everything's unity. Did you see that they're having like an inauguration show that Tom Hanks is hosting? I'm like, oh my God, Obama didn't even do this. Yeah, I'll pull that up for you.
See that. Of all people.
Well, stuff that we can't say that that is probably what it is here. There we go. Tom Hanks, what is this? Get off my screen. I'm clicking on the wrong screen there. Tom Hanks to hope televised Biden-Harris inauguration event. What is it? An award show? In lieu of more traditional inaugural events, you don't say. This year, President-elect Joe Biden's team said Wednesday will air a televised special hosted by Tom Hanks, featuring performances by Demi Lovato, heroin addict, and John Bon Jovi. I don't have anything bad to say about him. Oh, look at this. It's going to be on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Amazon Prime Video, Microsoft Bing. So just blare all the propaganda there, everybody. And good God, how do you even square that?
Wow. I had not heard about that. It's absolutely disgusting. And on that note, you realize how quick they were able to get a Hulu documentary out about what happened at the Capitol?
As in World Health Organization?
No, Hulu. So now there's
Oh, okay, Hulu.
Yeah. So now they're streaming a Siege at the Capitol on Hulu. I mean, has it even been a week? Yeah, I guess a week today. And they've already got a Hulu documentary. Now, again, not to beat a dead horse, we all want to play this whataboutism hypocrisy thing. But while the entire country was burning down, they literally pretended, as buildings are burning behind them, that it was fiery but mostly peaceful. But then a few days goes by and they already got a full-length feature film for Hulu about what happened at the Capitol. Almost as though it was, in fact, a setup.
Truly awe-inspiring what they're willing to do now, just to push all this. It's insane.
It's absolute insanity, and they really think we're all this stupid. Now, I'll give them credit. Some people are this stupid. The same people who were literally passing around champagne and putting. I'm sure you saw the clip, but we probably even talked about it. But passing around champagne when the Associated Press declares Joe Biden the winner, sipping champagne.
Rona's on hold.
Yeah, Rona's on hold. You could pass it around, put your mask back up. So you've been sharing champagne, and then you put the mask back up because the brain working has been that effective for you.
It's weird. What do they say? 3 months of
Say again?
They say something like 3 months of pure propaganda, and people will buy into it. And that's the amount of time you need for people to believe propaganda.
And it's been basically 3 times that amount. We're looking at easily 9 months worth of it. And it's bad in New York. I mean, it is bad. From the what I call them e-propaganda readers. They're like little things where you can charge your phone on the sidewalk, and they scroll through propaganda. I mean, it'll be like an ad for a Hollywood movie, and then it'll be wear a mask, and then it'll be thank you essential workers, and then it'll be Tamir Rice, say their names. And of course, the irony in this is that I saw one in the beautiful neighborhood of Flatbush, Brooklyn, that was stuck on Tamir Rice. So you're literally putting a Black Lives Matter martyr, air quotes, on this piece of equipment, and they still smashed it. Like, how robotic does it get that you're just destroying things, even though they are literally putting the names of the people that you claim to be fighting for? I have the picture. I'd have to scroll through and find it, but I mean, it's absolute insanity. And even going to the airports. Now, again, the airport here in Sioux Falls, they have one sign on the front door, please wear a mask. But they're not blasting you with propaganda over the loudspeaker. I touched down in Charlotte for a connector. I touched down in Minnesota for a connector. Obviously, Reagan Airport in DC is just, huge Jumbotron style stuff, like stadium style screens. Wear a mask as it's blaring over the loudspeaker. So the monitor is not playing any sound, but the loudspeakers across throughout the whole airport is playing the same thing over and over again. It's just beating people senseless. And how do I know that this is working? Is because at the beginning, when you were one of the first people to see some of my footage from the empty testing facilities. I have proof of them throwing around a football and sleeping in hammocks, all right here on my iPhone. But you fast forward 6 or 8 months, and now the line is around the block.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just we saw it. We saw it empty, filled with traffic cones. But then when November rolls around, you got testing facilities all throughout Brooklyn where people are literally lined up around the block because the propaganda worked. How else do you explain it?
If we can take anything from this, it's I don't know if you saw the news that CNN will no longer be played in airports.
I did see that, which is a small victory.
I've complained to my gym in the past because they just have CNN on 3 screens. I don't care what the news is. I just don't want to watch that while I'm working out. And secondly, if you're going to put on CNN, and put on something else next to it. Like, just be fair. So I asked them, do they have a contract with them? They wouldn't respond. So I'm guessing CNN has contracts like this with everybody, where they have, like, it's in airports, it's in wherever, you know?
My gym back in Brooklyn, I don't yet have a gym here. I also don't have a barber, but my gym back in Brooklyn was actually pretty good about it. They did have CNN on, but they had loads of TVs on. You could watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You could watch
As you were, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was. You could watch. I mean, every TV was basically on a different channel. So kudos to them for that. But that sounds insane. But then, ironically, there's a Taco Bell right next door to the gym.
Nice.
Which, unfortunately, I'd have to admit that I did, make a couple trips to that Taco Bell, and they had 3 TVs always on CNN.
At Taco Bell. So while you're poisoning yourself
with this food, you can poison your brain while you wait for a quesadilla or whatever.
Taco Bell is like low-grade cat food, I want to imagine, but man, do I love it. Taco Bell, if you're ever watching, I love you. Me and my friend Joel in high school used to love Taco Bell so much, and into our 20s, that we would have a preferred staff. Like, if one of us was at Taco Bell, we would text each other and just be like, yo, our guys are here. It was guy with huge sideburns and assistant manager girl. They ran a tight ship, and sideburns guy who had mutton chops was the friendliest guy ever. It was a winning combination. And since then, it's really gone downhill. I've waited in line at the drive-through like half an hour. I've downloaded that video I wanted to show. Next time, I'll figure out how to just play it from the web browser, because you know how computers are just like outputs instead of inputs. But if we give it a couple more minutes, I think we can show that video from Ben Bankus, the comedian. He's fat. He's funny. It's got everything you want.
Wait, didn't he? I think. Did you post another clip of his a few days ago?
I try to share his videos because they're really funny, but the one I shared from today I think it's his funniest video ever. I told him he needs more. I told him to do one in a wife beater, but in this one he's like naked. So, so there's that.
Also, dude, so one thing that I have to bring up, I guess, because now I'm like reminiscing about Brooklyn again. My brain is like still partly in New York for better or for worse. And I don't know if you heard this news that the Vessel, which I actually dubbed New York's newest tourist attraction, probably late in 2019, so well before the virus even started, just this. I went there when my mom came to visit me in Brooklyn. We went there. If you know what it looks like a giant beehive or something, and you can just. Ironically, even when you get to the top, the views aren't that great because it's surrounded by other tall buildings. So it's not like you can see all of Manhattan or anything, but it's now closed because too many people, I think 3 or 4 people now have hopped off the top of it to their death. And so they close it. And as that's happening, you have Bill de Blasio saying that he's going to cut ties and cut contracts with the Trump organization. So think about that. As Bill de Blasio and Andrew Cuomo are literally, Cuomo quite literally killing people with the nursing home stuff, murdering businesses, making all these wacky rules about red zones and orange zones and all this stuff that is completely insane. They've got New Yorkers hopping to their demise off of a tourist attraction, and he wants to talk about breaking up with contracts that he had with Donald Trump. Like, I'm speechless, bro. Like, the hypocrisy just knows no. I guess that's not even hypocrisy. It's just completely tone deaf, bro. It's tone deaf. You closed the tourist attraction because people were hopping off to kill themselves in your city, and you want to say we don't like Donald Trump's golf course.
Well, in the tourism side here in Canada, they put out their tourism report the other day, and it was like, well, tourism revenue is up month over month from December. In 2020, the tourism sector dropped by 97%. It's like, oh, I wonder why.
So can you I wouldn't even be able to get into Canada, I assume.
No, I don't think you can. And the last time I went to the U.S. for that Trump rally, I had to go on quarantine. We have somebody else on quarantine right now. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about it, but they don't care. And this guy travels a lot. And
But
then
he's
we had
mean.
yes. And then we had Key and Bexley, one of our reporters. He was in D.C. And you have to have a coronavirus test within the last 72 hours to come to Canada, I believe is the rule right now. But you need a specific reason to come here. So he was coming back. Again, this is one of our rights that you're allowed to freely move to and fro from our country. But he couldn't get one in DC, couldn't get a test in DC, flew to Denver, couldn't get the right test, flew to Montana, and had to drive home. So we tried to crowdfund the many thousands of dollars that this cost, because he's getting flights on like an hour's notice all across the United States, and then he has to rent a car to drive however the hell long that is.
Your audio's glitching out a little bit there again.
They're trying to stop the live stream. The Patriots will never bow down. It's not coming through. I don't
know what it sounds like to a viewer, but to me, it was I couldn't pick that up.
I was doing an Alex Jones voice.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't do Alex Jones.
The Patriots are being shut down. They can't stop us.
Yeah.
I posted your Instagram in the chat here, and I'm going to post my Patreon too, in case somebody wants to send me some money. Kimberly Rubright McClendon. That sounds like a British name. French people and Brits love having a hyphenated name, just so you know. She says, you think in a gym they would show you something to motivate you, not depress you. All they show at like Good Life gyms, which is the gym that I've now accidentally exposed myself to going to, is their own like little music videos, and then recipes on loop and exercises on loop, and of course CNN, and then sports. I saw one of the sports.
Yours is called Good Life?
Good Life Fitness.
That's hilarious, because here in Sioux Falls, it's called Great Life. Like
Good Life, Great Life. We're gonna have to make. I'm gonna have to find the logos for both of them and mash them up. Let's see if we can get this video to work here. I'm gonna change this thing. This is all this crazy new software that I'm gonna get better at, you guys. And let's see if this works.
My name is Ben Bankus, and I am a pro masker. I wear the mask all the time. When I'm in the shower, when I brush my teeth, when I drive, when I go to the grocery store. Hi guys, do you know where the masks are?
Masks?
Yeah, masks. Gloves and masks? Where are they? I don't see them. Is this a mask? And when I leave the house, I put on as many masks as possible to protect myself and others from the deadly coronavirus. I take this virus very seriously, and so does my husband. Yes, I am part of the LGBTQ community.
Good night, babe. Hi, baby.
I like wearing masks because then I don't have to be an individual. The weirdest thing about masks is both my husband and I have gotten COVID 7 times. Please, wear a mask.
Brought to you by Dr. Tedros, Klaus Schwab, and the United Nations.
Yo, that's hilarious.
I thought so. And that's why we have the coronavirus warning on everything.
That is hilarious. Dude, he's trying to
yeah. I think the nudity is what sends it off right. The other day I was watching this and I was laughing out loud so much.
Oh my God.
Oh, this girl responded. I'm wondering. Oh, it shows up on screen. Look at that, Eric. Hey, I'm Greek, married an Irishman. Only reason I have my name that way for friends in high school. I'm just an American. You're not just an American. You're a patriot, Kimberly Rubright McClendon. You have what it takes. Buy our iodized toothpaste now with iodine in it.
Infowarsstore.com.
Infowarsstore.com. If we're promoting stores, go to rebelnewsstore.com and use my promo code. I don't really get anything from it, but it makes me feel cool that I've beaten all my coworkers in use of my promo code, except for except for Sheila Gunn Reid, who's been there much longer than I have, and she's got way more fans. But I'm second, you guys. So go to use Andrew 10. I'm going to type it in the chat here.
I think she was
10% off.
I think she was one of the first people I saw over there on Rebel. And as long as we're doing shameless plugs, oh, dude, I'm getting so close. The book.
Your book, nice.
Yeah, man. I wish I could screen share or something, but 260 pages. It's got a little intro. It is coming soon. I approved it. I'm actually checking my email right now.
Unbelievable.
Oh, here it is. Sorry. Just an hour ago, your Washington, D.C. area stay has been canceled.
Well, that's good. You're not allowed to freely travel anymore because we don't like you. Because essentially what is, if you have pictures of the book and stuff or anything or a link, just drop it in our chat here and we can screen share it.
Let me see. I could but hold on, I was saying something completely different. I was talking about the book and then talking about the approval date. So once it's approved, it will be 4 to 6 weeks. So we are getting mighty close to finishing that up. And then that's when I go to look at my email and I see my official refund and cancellation from Airbnb, which again is just hilarious, right? I mean, I can't help but laugh about this. Like, nobody stepped up to stop the riots that happened almost all year.
Exactly. That's my biggest problem with it is the hypocrisy of it all. Like Antifa this and BLM that all summer burning down everything. And then this happens, which of course you don't want to happen. You don't want your capital to be stormed. But when all of a sudden this happens and then all of a sudden the government has their facial recognition, they're arresting people. They brought back that podium that somebody stole pretty damn quickly. Viking guys arrested. All this happened within like a week or 7 days to the day. And we're still sitting here. And like they did make arrests on Antifa. And like you can see that on Andy No's profile, for example. But it's not an international news story.
No.
It's just an internet news story, which everyone's supposed to ignore. And it's like, oh, they have property insurance. Don't worry about them burning everything down.
It literally, it's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. The gaslighting. I mean, Andrew Cuomo. I hate to again just keep saying the same thing over and over again, but do you remember shortly after he made the notorious? I believe it was March 25th when he did his nursing home executive order that put those people into the nursing homes, and then had the audacity, had the nerve to say that it was the nursing home's fault for taking patients if they weren't equipped to do it. He said that. I can scroll back through my Instagram feed where I posted it, and he's like, well, if they didn't have the capacity, then they shouldn't have taken those patients. It's like, at that point, every business should have reopened at that point. For
me, every accent I do is Alex Jones. For you, it sounds like it's an old Jewish New Yorker. It's everyone's Bernie Sanders.
Well, I don't know. Like, there's that Family Guy joke where it's like, Jews are not Italians. I don't know. I'm mixing them up. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have like, I think Cuomo's my only impression, and it's obviously doesn't really sound like him. And to me, I don't know. To me, he looks like Kramer in that episode where he's smoking cigars in the apartment. His face, he looks like old catcher's mitt, bro. I can't stand these men. Like I hate this guy. But now, and then in De Blasio, for the record, who I actually, and I feel like I can actually back this up. I actually hate Cuomo more than De Blasio. You know, at that point, we're splitting hairs. But De Blasio took to his social media today to say New York doesn't do business with insurrectionists. I'm like, dude, you are the 7-foot socialist, this commie that's been destroying New York for the past 5 years. And the projection is just so insane. It's like, it's at this point, I think they're actually trying to drive people insane.
It would seem that way at this point where it's like the hypocrisy is so insane. Like Twitter, I'm going to try to pull that up. Twitter saying that they're against the Ugandan government or whatever it is, deleting apps and shit.
And now we have Bryson. Apparently, he's tweeting out. He's posting on his social media that the FBI came to visit him. They are completely they are a tool of the left.
Just like I said, it's everything else happens so fast. All of a sudden, we can go visit rappers at their home if they're doing that. To be fair, though, if you listen to Eminem, they did go and visit him as well when he talked shit about Trump. But that's the Secret Service's job, but not the FBI, though.
Well, I mean, I just don't trust them because they're the same people that didn't want to. They wanted to turn a blind eye. And I don't know exactly what their assignments are supposed to be. But when you have Bubba Smollett claiming that there's a noose in his garage, what's that?
You want to read that? I always read everything. You read it.
Yeah, dude. It happens every time you change the screen. The audio gets a little jumbled up, but open internet. Wow. Wow. I mean, this
was because the Ugandan president, who allegedly is a dictator, I know nothing about it. He apparently said that if social media companies aren't going to treat everyone fairly, then there's no reason to have them in their country. Fact. And then Twitter decides to say this: we strongly condemn internet shutdowns. They are hugely harmful, violate basic human rights and the principles of the internet. By the way, Trump's banned off of everything, and everybody decided to shut down Parler. And also, Trump is not allowed to have a store. Also, Trump's not allowed to have bank accounts. It's literal fascism, and it's interesting now that we've called this episode "Your Papers, Please."
Yeah, dude, when you put it all together, I mean, it's all happening, right? We're watching it, but when you literally put it all together, I mean, is there a way out of it? There clearly, when people stood up for themselves a little bit, and whatever you want to say, it was Antifa that did that started the siege or whatever. Fine, whatever, so be it. It doesn't even really matter because they were the same people who were destroying the country for the past year anyway. So, like, it's mind blowing, dude. It absolutely is. So, let me ask you this.
I'm going to let you ask me.
Wait, what's that?
Said I will let you ask you.
Oh.
I will let you ask me.
Now that I have my official Airbnb cancellation for my next trip to DC. They're obviously saying nobody should go. Now they're kind of towing the line, like they didn't want to do it before because of the virus, and now they don't want to do it because of what happened at the Capitol. I mean, what are we to expect? I genuinely have no idea. Do you have to drive an hour? Like, can I find another Airbnb an hour outside of DC in Virginia or Maryland or Philly? I don't even know. I got to look at a map, but like, I mean, is Joe Biden even going to be there? Like, is it going to just be CNN and MSNBC there with their cameras? Like, look, this is amazing.
Well, apparently every single damn network and streaming service is going to be there. And Tom Hanks and Demi Lovato and John. I didn't take John Bon Jovi to be such a cuck like this, but like,
Beta.
Yeah, you big Jesse Lee Peterson fan.
I can't sit here and say I watch him all the time, but some of his clips are hilarious. They go,
yeah, just because he's so like blunt.
Yeah.
He's almost like the Ugandan guy or wherever it is. I don't want to claim to know the why are you gay? That guy. He's breaching upon that thing. Nuance Bro, who I don't agree with on everything, a YouTuber, man on the street guy. He was on Jesse Lee Peterson, and he got him pretty good, I'd say. Again, I don't agree with Nuance Bro on everything, but he has a way of he's well prepared for things like that usually. Shout out Nuance Bro, even though he's super rich and doesn't need YouTube, I don't think.
Oh, I mean, I've seen some of his videos before. There was something. I think I just kind of got bored with it. He was like wearing his sunglasses in all the videos, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this anymore. But I will say, as far as Jesse Lee is concerned, kudos to him, props to him, because there's clips of him in 1992 calling out fake news.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so that, I mean, I don't agree with him on everything. I don't really know what he stands for. Like, I think for the most part, he seems like a pretty cool dude. Rebuilding the man or whatever. And sometimes sometimes he's just absolutely hilarious. Like,
I'd categorize him as like an old school Southern Christian.
He's almost like
I'm not going to agree with him on everything. Obviously, he seems to be pretty harsh on the women and gay people, but a lot of the stuff he says is like, you don't have to agree with everyone. That's something a mistake I think a lot of people make when they're first starting to watch politics.
Hold on, dude. Is it when you touch the headphones something happens?
I'll talk like this and then I'll do this. Did that do anything?
No, but I just missed like the last little sentence you said.
When people start getting into politics at the beginning, I feel like, because I'm guilty of it is why I think that's the case. And I see other people, you end up putting all your eggs in a person's basket. And I was going to say, whether it's Ben Shapiro or whomever gets you into it. Fleckus Talks maybe for a lot of people. Will Witt for a lot of people. Shout out Will Witt. Follow me back, Will Witt. We did an interview together. We did a podcast. You bastard. He still replies to me, and he just doesn't follow me back. Maybe he's one of those guys that follows like 10 people. I don't know. But my point was like you're not going to agree with everything somebody says. And if you listen to Ben Shapiro every day and you're like, he's the best, I love you, Ben Shapiro. And then one day he's just like, he says whatever you disagree with. He shits on some little YouTuber or something, which he's done before. All of a sudden, you can't just be like, "Oh my God, I was wrong." You're setting yourself up for disappointment if you're thinking that you're going to agree with everyone on everything. Now, having said that, I've yet to find something that Michael Knowles has said that I don't like.
Yo, I would agree with you. Because Ben Shapiro is kind of like the gateway drug, right? He's sort of like the entry level stuff. I was introduced to him in Berkeley, California, when Antifa was burning the city down, and I was like, wow, they must really hate this guy. Let's see what he's all about. And I was like, oh, it's not that bad at all. Like, why are you guys so angry? And that was kind of my introduction to him. But I used to ride the train, so my little routine back in New York was to like podcast on the way to work and podcast on the way home and then music on the way to work. So I would kind of cycle through the Daily Wire guys. And to your point, I think Michael Knowles is probably the most entertaining because I can find things about Matt Walsh that I really didn't like. Obviously, things about Ben Shapiro that I really didn't like. Clavin, I think Clavin is actually my second favorite after Knowles. And of course, Knowles made the simplest, most amazing book ever. And, you got to just hand it to him for that because it was a great idea. And I really wish I had come up with that. But yeah, the guy's pretty hilarious, I'd say.
Men Are Not Women, his tour, that was my favorite.
Yeah,
I was going to do that book for Canada about Justin Trudeau. And I'm glad I didn't because somebody else did it, but in a shittier way where it was like every page was a diss to him or something. So I was going to do it about the other party, the New Democrats, who are basically like in a party of AOCs or a party for the squad up here. And I was going to be like a new, an orange future, a new way forward for Canada or something. And 100 reasons to support the NDP, the party. And then it was just going to be blank. But I was like, and then I waited a little bit longer and somebody basically did the same thing. And I bet you it would probably sell, but I have some dignity. I can confirm, by the way, I was just looking. Will Witt only follows 69 people. I don't know if the number is is why, but
on Insta or Twitter.
On Instagram, he only follows 69 people. So I retract it, but I still prefer my hair over yours.
Will Witt is kind of like I guess like kind of the younger version of Ben Shapiro, sort of like the entry. Like you got Ben Shapiro, obviously Daily Wire, and you got Will Witt over there at PragerU. These crazy extremist organizations. If you talk to anybody, in the mainstream, like they really think that PragerU is like an extremist platform. Like think about that.
There's like GLAAD, if you remember GLAAD, like the Gay Lesbian Alliance, whatever they call themselves. They wrote an article about Will Witt saying that his video questioning whether or not transgender should be in women's sports. They call that video dangerous. And one of his PragerU has many dangerous videos, including Will Witt.
I'm losing you again, bro. I don't know what's happening.
Maybe I'm just not talking into the mic too loudly enough. But they're saying that Will Witt and PragerU have all these dangerous videos, including saying transgender men shouldn't be in women's sports. Dangerous
stuff. Well, remember Kazubi did it famously.
Yeah, the deadlifts. Yeah. I've broken the deadlift record. That got him on Joe Rogan.
Wait, say it again.
That got him on Joe Rogan.
Oh, is that how he got on there? Okay, that makes sense. I mean, because the guy he's ripped, right? He's jacked, and he's like, well, I can identify. Like, it's insane. And there is this one account that I follow on Instagram. I think it's called retard alerts or something like that. And they've been posting. I'm not too familiar with this thing, Omegle or whatever that the kids are using nowadays.
Yeah, that's just my friends and I used to. I won't even tell that story, but we would go on Omegle and just like smoke and just see what kind of people we would come across.
It's like type of thing. Remember
yeah, it's the same thing as chat roulette. So all you're getting is dudes touching themselves and just like penis. I'm pretty sure they do that on South Park where Cartman goes on chat roulette and he's just like, guy jacking off.
Yo, so I don't know if it's the same people behind this retard alerts account who's doing the videos, but they're posting this guy. There's like a whole series of them where he's in blackface.
Of course.
He's shirtless though, so you can tell he's white. Like he's completely shirtless. He's wearing blackface, like bright red lips, and like a gold chain. And he keeps going on there and he says, "I'm a trans nigga." And it's just like, that's how ridiculous this has become. Like, you can, I mean, how is it? Again, I guess this is sort of preaching to the choir with any sort of logical thinker. But how is it that you can magically change your sex, but you can't change your age, you can't change your height? We know you can't change your race because we've
tried that, you and I.
We burned Rachel Dolezal at the stake for doing that. So you can't do anything else. But if you want to, you can magically change your gender. And on top of that, gender is also a spectrum. So when you're transitioning, you can, I mean, how many things can you transition to, right? This just doesn't work in any way, shape, or form, but we're supposed to buy it. Just like we can see with our own two eyes, our own lying eyes, that Joe Biden had zero enthusiasm. They completely stole the whole thing. But if you question it, you are now the crazy person. The gaslighting is just insane.
I posted the link to the closest thing I could find to that guy. I don't think it's it's just a picture of a guy wearing what looks like a Captain Canada post. And he's got a lot of likes on it. It's from 2014. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it means. But I think we should wrap it up here. We've been going for a good hour. Any final words here?
Come to Sioux Falls. Book coming soon. That's pretty much it. And we gotta climb our way out of this censorship rabbit hole, man. So yeah,
I've got my papers in case.
Got your papers. Dude, I'm trying to work out this little trip. I was planning to fly to DC one way and hitch a ride with my buddy Nick back through the country, and we were going to talk to some people and see what's really going on in flyover territory. So I'm still working on that, but I guess the most important thing is stay posted, report and opine on Instagram. I'm going to be doing a little bit more on YouTube and kind of diversifying. I'm also on Telegram, but book coming soon. That's the final point.
Atomic Dog, the Bruins. If I could talk about which teams I hate more, or fans, Boston Bruins fans are as big of a goon in terms of hockey fans as Philadelphia Eagles fans are in hard football. So all the guys I've ever known to be Bruins fans, you could just categorize them as goons, whether they were nice, whether they were mean, dumb, smart. Still, somehow they fit the term goon, whether because they were jacked or because they were something about them. They've always been goonish, and that's what the Bruins. A team is represented by its fans. That's why the Bruins have all goon players. That's why the Eagles have guys, and the Steelers have guys that put out bounties on people. Now we're getting to football. Let's say goodbye, everybody.
Dude, I don't know. I'm losing you again. I don't know what's up.
Oh my God!
We'll have to. It's just like it's muffled or something. It's a little bit staticky. So we'll have to look into that. But that's all I got, man. Thank you. We got to do it again.
All right, thank you, young sir.
Awesome, dude. I will talk to you very soon. How do I?
That sounds creepy.
Sorry.